Welcome back, guys. Gilmore with Gilmore. Today we're interviewing a gentleman that is a small business owner in the local area. He also is an established member of our church and is the father of a small baseball team. So
That's absolutely right.
So I'd like to take a moment here to sit down with him and get to know him and let you guys get to know him a little bit more and ask you a few questions if you're good with that.
Great.
Awesome. Start. Get you to introduce yourself, sir.
Yeah, so my name's Steve Bradshaw. As Eli said, I have 5 kids, so I can field a hockey team, basketball team. As long as I play goalie, we have a full hockey team. But originally from Michigan, been here since 2011.
Okay.
And really, this is where a lot of my professional career kind of catapulted.
And you said you grew up in Michigan?
Yeah.
What part?
So I'm from Lapeer, Michigan, which is just east of Flint.
Okay.
So I was actually born in Flint, and then we're about 20 miles just east of there. I grew up playing baseball and hockey. Those were like my 2 sports, and it was a full-time thing. As soon as baseball season ended, hockey season started. As soon as hockey season ended, baseball season started. So
wow,
that was, and the seasons permitted that. During the winter, we're skating on the pond, and during the summer, we're on the baseball field.
Running the field. Sure. What was your favorite of the two? If you had to pick one.
Right. I was better at hockey, but I ended up choosing baseball.
Yeah.
So my junior year, I quit playing travel hockey, and I just played high school hockey. I skated out for the first time in my career. Got to score goals and lead. I didn't lead the team in goals scored, but I was second. So I had a lot of fun there. But I did that because that would allow me to focus on baseball. Because I knew that going into college, that was going to be the sport that I chose. That was the sport that I loved the most. And so I didn't have as many opportunities per se in terms of where to go. But I chose baseball, and then I ended up going to Eastern Michigan and playing collegiate baseball.
Oh, wow.
Level. And,
wow, that's awesome.
So
what position?
First base.
First base.
Yeah, so I'm a lefty, so I was limited on positions I could play. I wanted to catch, again, probably because of the gear.
Right.
But being left-handed, they don't let you do that. I like shortstop, but again, left-handed. And I couldn't play the outfield because I was slow. So I said,
you needed the skates, huh?
You're like, you got first base or pitcher. So I played first base in college.
Is it tricky when they're trying to steal and all that stuff? It seems like first base would be one of the more complicated positions on the field. Is that?
It was.
I know nothing of baseball, so I say that in ignorance.
For me, the way I navigated that position was kind of like a captain. Obviously the catcher does a lot of like the captaining of the team, but for me, first base was another extension of the captain because I kind of helped control the play, control the team.
Sure.
And I was, kind of that not the center of the field, but that's how I navigated the position.
That's neat. So college baseball, what was that like? Did you get to travel a lot, or?
Yeah. So that was probably one of the most integral parts of my life. When I look back on what formed and shaped me the most in my youth, there wasn't probably a single event or experience. It was sports. It was
nice.
Again, because it was a year-round thing. It was a huge part of my life, and it helped shape and mold me into who I became.
Sure.
Collegiate baseball was a tremendous opportunity because we got to do things at a higher level. So we actually played we played Florida. We played South Carolina. We played Texas. We played.
Those are some pretty big name baseball schools right there.
University of Tennessee. We got to play all of these huge schools that I would have dreamt to have been able to play at, but being a Michigander, being a 6-foot first baseman who didn't hit a lot of home runs, those weren't opportunities for me. But to be able to play on those fields and against that competition was amazing. We had a good stint while I was there. My first years were kind of rough, but then my junior and senior year, we won the MAC championship. So we won our conference championships.
That's awesome.
We had rings for that, which was
cool.
Awesome. And then my senior year, we went to the NCAA tournament because we had qualified. So, those are things that I'll live with forever.
Sure,
memories
absolutely.
that are, I'm very proud of.
what were you like in high school? Were you like a bookworm academic? Were you the sports jock that was goofing off? Tell us a little bit about
definitely
you.
the latter.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until later in having kids, we have sons that are the same age. I
Good friends that are
best buds. I look at like how can I help shape and mold Luke's educational experience, based upon how I navigated through, because it wasn't like school was. I had both my parents were high school teachers, so education was a huge part of our life and our structure, the way our parents communicated to us, like you need to do your work, and so for me that just meant doing the bare minimum to get A's and B's.
Sure.
C's weren't acceptable.
Nope, not at all.
But it was, and I didn't enjoy the education piece. I see that a lot in Luke as well, my son. That was high school. It was really just an outlet for me to be able to be social.
So, so did you know your wife in high school?
So we met in the 7th grade.
Wow, 7th grade.
Yeah. So we went to the same middle school. She lives on the wrong side of Lapeer, on the correct side of Lapeer. So I went to Lapeer West, she went to Lapeer East. So once in our middle school, 7th grade was the one, all 7th graders went to the same school.
Okay.
And so that's where we met, was in the 7th grade. And so there was this like distant, like
friends first that grew into something more.
We joked because she had a crush on me first. And then I had a crush on her later, and she had a boy. So it all worked out.
Sure.
She moved down to Florida ahead of me. She came. The whole reason we're in St. Augustine is because of the University of St. Augustine. She came down to go to PT school there,
right?
And then got connected with our church, and then stayed. Like that became the anchor of our lives.
Sure. And I can see how you two kind of hit it off and got together. You guys make a great power team, power couple, if you will. Just the two of you guys, and you have some great kids too. So. That's awesome. So when you moved here, what was your goal? What was your idea of you? What was going to become of you in St. Augustine?
Yeah, so that I look back on those years, and I really had. It's amazing how little of a plan I had.
Sure.
Because it really wasn't anything more than I knew that I wanted to be with Elizabeth. I knew this is where we were going to be because of the church.
Sure.
I had gotten my degree in construction management. I knew construction was an industry that I liked.
Sure.
I knew that from high school. And I had jobs up in Michigan working construction, both commercial as a project manager, skilled labor.
Sure.
And when I moved down here, I needed a job, and I had gotten connected with just in the restaurant industry. So I started working at Chili's, then I started working at Red Lobster. And that was where everything started for us, was really just put your hand to something, start working,
right.
and then the journey, kind of started to unfold.
Sure. So you own small businesses, or what's going on here? I know your name is connected with a lot of businesses. How did that all come to play, and how is all that going for you now?
The first opportunity for a business came about in our church. There had always been a vision around having a coffee shop, cafe within our church.
Sure.
And so, this wasn't a quick process per se, but over the course of lots of interactions, lots of conversations with our pastor, it ended up that we would launch a coffee shop centered out of the church, and that would be our first business. It turned out really well. Again, I've had a passion for coffee. I had a passion for entrepreneurship, business. My wife was a really good cook. In all of this, I'm learning what it means to be a business owner, be an entrepreneur.
Of course, yeah.
I'm learning who I am. I'm learning my gifts and talents. I'm reading a lot of books. At this point, this stage of my life, it was a lot of business books. I've got several here. I've got several more in another location. But I was basically just trying to consume everything I could on how to run a business. Things that you would think that your college education would teach you.
No.
So, in all of this as well, our pastor needed, our church needed a general contractor that could, basically pull permits for the church when there was work done. So he had kind of pushed and said, "Hey, you've got the degree. Why don't you get your Florida general contractor's license?"
Nice.
So I just did it just because he needed it. And,
Sure.
And so I went, got my GC license here in Florida, and then Hurricane Matthew happened. So we had our own residential construction company, and it was very early. That because of the storm, because of the devastation, because there was such a need, business just took off.
Sure.
And so we were faced with, I hadn't set up the cafe in a place where it could kind of run itself.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So I couldn't run both. I had to pick. And so we ended up handing the church the cafe, saying, hey, I can't do this and that. You guys maintain this. We'll focus on the construction business. And so that became our predominant focus. 2016, we went full-fledged into that.
And that was Builders Enterprise?
Yep, Builders Enterprise.
Sure. I remember the hats. Those were,
Yep. And then, again, just trying to navigate myself. And each business went to another level compared to the previous one because I learned what not to do. And I had a head start going into the next one.
Sure.
And then in 2019, I had an idea for essentially the Airbnb of construction rentals. So as a contractor, I own tools, I rent tools. A lot of the tools sit idle. And I was looking for a place where I can monetize it. Instead of it sitting collecting dust, I could rent it to somebody that needed it in my area.
Super cool.
And there was nothing like that.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I spent 6 months really diving into that business plan and determining, do I want to launch off on this? Because this is a big endeavor.
Yeah.
And we decided to do that. And so now we have Clink, which is a peer-to-peer construction rental business, which is, a construction technology-based business. So it's.
Do you have a website?
We do. Yeah, clinkit.app.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a whole different journey compared to just running a residential construction company. Same industry, which is great because I'm very familiar and I understand the industry really well. But in terms of building a tech business, that was again an opportunity for me to learn. So I look at my role within Clink as really a general manager. If we stick with the sports analogy, it's the general manager. They're not on the field. They don't play. They don't coach. Their main focus is building a brand, building a culture, and getting the players necessary to play on the team.
Absolutely.
So that they can succeed.
Future projects coming up? Anything new we need to keep an eye out for?
There's just little things within Clink that are going to come. We started as the peer-to-peer construction rental platform, but other ways that we can serve our users are things like lead generation. Contractors are wanting to find more leads, more opportunities.
Absolutely.
Homeowners are looking for contractors to do the things that they need around the house.
Absolutely.
So we've started probably phase 1 of 5 in a lead generation contractor directory feature within our platform.
Wow.
So it's pretty low level operations right now, but we're looking to build off that in the years to come. Future providing having an insurance brokerage within Clink, networking groups, which we've just launched that. So there's anything new is going to fall within that umbrella, and it's going to serve our existing users. I think the construction industry is going to go into more independent contractor work. So you won't have 12 employees that are all in the field building stuff. It'll be independent contractors that you hire these 5 guys to help you build this project, and then after that they go work for somebody else.
So dog or cat person?
So I'm pretty neutral. We grew up with both. And I liked both. My wife hates cats, so she grew up on a dairy farm.
So you're saying dogs then?
she chose, yeah. So, but now that we have 5 kids, young kids, and we got a puppy about a year ago. I'm not even sure I'm a dog guy.
What kind of puppy?
We have a golden doodle.
Oh, those like to dig, right? Those are
they dig, bark,
everything.
Play. He eats socks. He doesn't chew, but he will eat socks, which is an amazing feat, and they go all the way through. So,
No pun intended there, right? No,
yeah,
that's we'll skip that subject.
Yeah,
but now we know where all the socks go, I guess,
yes.
right? Yeah, that's great. It's a funny story you'd like to end this with. Besides the socks and the dog eating the socks, that's pretty funny.
My life is a comedy. I think at this stage, like if there are themes that kind of carry throughout different seasons of life. Right now, I'm in the comedy stage.
Okay.
I have, again, 5 kids,
Sure.
under 8 years old, and so whether it's funny things that they say, funny things that they do, it's pretty constant and consistent. I also coach baseball, so Luke's baseball team, 6-year-olds. 5 and 6-year-olds.
How'd it go last night? You had a game last night, right?
Let's get
really
11-0.
Wow. Well, at least you showed up. Sort of.
It was. It's amazing how it wasn't even that my competitive nature came out. It was just I don't like to lose, and I definitely don't like to get my butt kicked. And so it was a quiet ride home for me because I'm thinking about how can we avoid this in the future. But yeah, I don't have a one story in particular.
Okay.
Honestly, it's just the consistent, things that happen every day with 5 kids.
Yeah, you gotta laugh, right? You gotta laugh.
That eats socks.
That's awesome. Yeah, you gotta laugh. Well, I'm a coach as well. I coach soccer, and we were the opposite side. We actually won last night, 3-0. So,
awesome.
But that was us last year. We didn't win a single game, and we lost a couple times, 10-0. So I know your pain. It is very frustrating, but that's awesome that you're a coach as well. You definitely don't have enough stuff going on, so I'll try to think of some more stuff for you to take care of here for you. So, well, thank you for your time, bud. I appreciate it, Steven. It was great getting to know you guys and know more about you and everything that's going on. I look forward to seeing the stuff from Clink coming up and taking off, and good luck to you with that.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. I will see you next time.